Today in the show we have M0 launching on Ethereum mainnet, BIS Rialto, Coinbase Smart Wallet, and much more. I'm your host, Mauricio Magaldi, and this is Block Drops, your weekly digest on blockchain for business. These news are not a form of endorsement, sponsorship, or encouragement for consumption and are meant for educational purposes only. In the first drop today, we're covering M0, the stablecoin, or as they say, the crypto dollar protocol that was launched this week by M0 Labs. So there's two headlines to this. The first one is that M0 Labs have raised a Series Z funding round of $35 million. This round was led by Bain Capital Crypto with Galaxy Ventures, Wintermute Ventures, GSR, Caledon, and SCB10X. And it follows the seed round of $22.5 million that M0 raised in early 2023 in the middle of the bear market, which is interesting in terms of positioning. This is a significant investment, and this is what the parties involved had to say. And I quote Stephen Cohen, partner at Bain Capital Crypto. He says, "Stablecoins are the largest and fastest growing asset for settlement on public blockchains today. We expect this market to continue to grow quickly to trillions of dollars over the next decade. M0 is taking a unique approach with lessons from MakerDAO to form a new decentralized stablecoin collateralized exclusively by short-term treasuries. We're impressed with the M0 team's mix of stablecoin, DeFi, and traditional finance expertise. We're excited to support them in the next phase of growth," end quote. And from Luca Prosperi, one of the co-founders of M0 Labs, he says, and I quote, "We are transitioning from an outdated monetary infrastructure dominated by large centralized parties to a much more modern, federated framework for crypto dollar issuance. We reject a future clutter with non-interoperable and riskier forms of money. This Series A funding, backed by some of the very best partners in the industry, will drive the entities within the emerging M0 ecosystem to build the middleware for a new global federation of reputable money issuers and distributors," end quote. So M0, we talked about M0, but we talked about the two token governor system, which they deployed a few weeks ago on mainnet of Ethereum, and now they've deployed the actual protocol. So the protocol accepts minters or entities that would want to participate in the M0 ecosystem. They would have to present acceptable form of collateral, which now is short-term U.S. Treasuries, and they need to engage with collateral management and validator partners. And these minters are then they are presented, they register for participating. They are approved by the governance, which is part of the two token governance system, and then they can mint the allotted or allowed amount of M. M is the crypto dollar, the native crypto dollar to the M0 protocol. And to use the M0 protocol, they need to pay a network fee, and then they get a share of the return on the collateral that they themselves bring to the network, which is a very unique model across the stablecoin or DeFi ecosystem in crypto. It allows these participants to leverage network effects and get liquidity from this fungible dollar, and they retain value on the collaterals that they present. So the more collateral you have, the more M you can mint. Therefore, you can have more liquidity. With more liquidity, more businesses and more revenue. So therefore, this is the cycle that the M protocol is aiming to achieve. So it's minting and redeeming of the crypto dollar is now available in this limited phase for the minter population on the network, and more to come from the M0 Foundation as they expand participation on the role of minters and validators across the ecosystem as they grow. We will look to get João Reginato and Luca Prosperi to a Block Talks individually to each one and learn more about the M0 protocol, why they're doing this, how they're doing this, and obviously try to get a little bit of intel on what the thinking is and what the roadmap looks like for M0. For the second drop today, we go back to CBDCs, and in this case, wholesale CBDCs aiming to solve cost inefficiencies for cross-border FX settlement. So the BIS is back at its traditional role of fostering the use of CBDCs across a variety of central banks. And this week they unveiled Project Rialto, which is a module for foreign exchange processes, FX processes, that aims to improve the settlement for instant cross-border payments using wholesale CBDC. As a reminder, CBDCs are central bank digital currencies. Wholesale CBDCs are the CBDCs that exist between banks and central banks. They're not used for commercial money use, and um, they have seen some success in pilots across a variety of jurisdictions. More notably for the listeners of the podcast is the Hong Kong CBDC project and Drex in Brazil. They use a very centralized, somewhat distributed form of wholesale CBDC. And this is the goal of the Rialto project, is to actually integrate those CBDCs, but for cross-border processes. Rialto is led by the BIS Innovation Hub in Singapore and the Eurosystem. So these are the two entities that are heading this project. And they haven't announced any particular central banks that are participating in this project, but obviously this is part of a broader G20 initiative that aims to reduce cost and improve efficiency of cross-border payments across the participating countries. Obviously, FX is a major part of the economy of the trading economy of the G20 countries, and the cost for FX transactions is a large component of the overall cost for those trades. According to the Financial Stability Hub, FX accounts for 60% of peer-to-peer payments globally and 97% of peer-to-business payments globally. So this is a significant effort to reduce the costs, other than overarching risks and AML and KYC risk exposure as well. What is interesting to me is that BIS seems to proliferate the CBDC projects, and particularly in the FX space. We've seen a lot of other projects, quite a number of other projects. There's Project Nexus, which is instant payment solution. There's Mariana, the FX trading using automated market makers like DeFi does. We've commented on this. We've commented multiple times on Project Guardian that has FX components as they do trades for uh, the purchase of bonds and other instruments in a DeFi environment. And obviously Project Agorá, which is the cross-border payments across a variety of central banks. So I don't really understand how many projects are too many for the BIS, but there's two indicatives here. One is at some point, these projects will need to converge because you don't solve problems by creating more projects. You solve problems by actually understanding the problems and attacking them with a directed solution. So I think there will be a time where instead of diverging, these are going to converge. But second is what is exactly that we're trying to do in terms of CBDCs for FX? How many different formats of money CBDCs can represent in the context of international trade in ways that require these many projects to exist. So I'm hoping that these projects will be less few and far between, and that the solutions might find its way from pilots to actual production, much like their own project mBridge, which has been running for a couple of years now, and it's probably one of the most successful products in trade finance using CBDCs as well. So we'll keep an eye on that. In the final drop today, we tackle a UX headline for the week, which to me was likely the most interesting one. If you've been around the Block Drops podcast for a while, you know we are big proponents of improving user experience to help onboard the next generation of users in blockchain. And this announcement came from Coinbase, or for an associated Coinbase project, which is Moonwell, which is a lending DeFi lending application running on Base, a layer 2 of Ethereum maintained by Coinbase. And Luke Youngblood, the founder of Moonwell the project, said that this announcement is Web3's iPhone moment that will lead Web3 to onboard the next billion users. This was the announcement of Coinbase's smart wallets. Well, smart wallets are not account abstraction based wallets, but they are a way to manage your private keys using your device's biometric identification hardware. Very interesting. So it uses passkeys generated from biometric data on your device, and they do away with the need from third-party installations or browser extensions or even seed phrases to define and recover a private key. What you can do is that the moment you create your Web3 wallet using this smart wallet procedure, it registers the passkey created with your biometric ID, be it facial recognition or fingerprint, and saves the, 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 the private key on your passkeys device, which computers and mobile phones now have installed for a variety of use cases, including your payment credentials in your phone. So this it's interesting because it kind of blends the needs for the type of cryptography to maintain your private keys in crypto, but in a form factor that is now familiar to users of more modern laptops, computers, and smartphones, which leads to what I would consider an intuitive user experience to create a new wallet. Um, in addition to this, there is a incentives program for developers to start using the smart wallet that is funded by the base layer 2. A developer can get $15,000 worth of sponsored gas so that their applications can actually use the smart wallet and then sponsor the transaction costs for the users of their application when they're using smart wallets interacting with the base blockchain, and also get $1,000 worth of sponsored gas so they can do a demo of the Coinbase Smart Wallet integration on their application and showcase that application and the user smart wallet in the smartwallet.dev website. So very interesting. Luke Youngblood also added here a quote: "When the iPhone was launched into the 2000s and 2010s, it took off. All of a sudden, anyone could use apps without having to buy a computer. We feel really strongly this is going to cross the chasm from DeFi and on-chain finance, being this niche tool only usable by wealthy people in developed countries like ours, to broad mainstream adoption." End quote. Um, look, if you don't listen to the Block Drops podcast, you might as well just do it, because we're on the same page here. And it's going to be very interesting to see how this trickles down on other wallet infrastructures. There's MetaMask, Phantom, Wallet Connect, and many more that might just adopt the same style of authentication and make it increasingly easier for users, obviously for developers, but for users to participate in crypto as well. So looking forward to seeing more of this passkey device generated control, and see if that stands the scrutiny of hackers in search for exploit opportunities. And in a week packed full of news, here is more. Circle, the issuers of the USDC, the USD pegged stablecoin, applied to join Project Agorá by the BIS. Robinhood, one of the top trading apps, is going to buy crypto exchange Bitstamp in an effort to expand outside of the United States. Ripple partners with Junction to enhance UK and EU cross-border payments infrastructure. IOHK signed an MOU to host the Cardano Constitutional Convention in the Faculty of Law at the University of Buenos Aires in December of 2024. Fireblocks announced that they now support dYdX, the blockchain that supports the most popular derivatives trading platform in crypto. The BIS mBridge project is now open for new members, now from the private sector. And Franklin Templeton announced that they're integrating USDC settlement for fiat in its tokenized investment platform Benji using zero hash. Catch us online. We're on Instagram at blockdropspodcast, on Twitter at blockdropspod or 0x Mauricio. We're on Lens at blockdrops.lens. We have a newsletter on LinkedIn. Write to us at blockdropspodcast@gmail.com, and you can listen to the Block Drops podcast at Spotify, iColab, Faberbun Tech, and all of the other major streaming platforms. Yay! Shoutouts today to the people who share the links you will find in the episode notes: Dante Desparte, João Reginato, Luca Prosperi, João Borges, JB Graftio, Marcelo Eizelli, JJ Siller, Charles Dossi, Italo Borsato, Jeremy Allaire, Edward Woodford, and Benjamin Backman. Don't forget to leave the ratings on your favorite player. This is all for today. Stay rare, stay weird. LFG.